Well, this is one of those fantastic moments where the hype truly lives up to the text. And I'm talking about Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb, book 2 of the Farseer trilogy. And hands down, one of the best books that I've probably ever read, but definitely one of my best reads of 2021. So let's talk about why. The only light spoiler type thing that I'll say to set up the book is just Fitz, based on what happens at the end of book 1, is sort of done with, his current tasks and serving the king in the way that he was, and he doesn't want anything to do with it anymore. But through various circumstances and the world being the way that it is, he is dragged back into his assassin ways that were established in book 1. So what book 2 really does, though, is it amps up the plot, the pacing, the character work, the action, literally everything from book 1 that I ended up loving on my second read. This book does everything better. I don't know how Robin Hobb managed to level up her writing so much since book 1 to book 2. But wow, this is one of those books where I read some of it on Kindle. So like most of my highlights were there because I don't physically mark books. I take some notes on like Evernote is an app that I use just to sort of jot things down as I'm reading. There were so many things that I wrote down or highlighted while reading this book that just passages that were just beautiful or like really impactful character moments, just vivid imagery. I mean, damn, the first couple of chapters, this just turned into like a straight up grimdark novel. There was just everything under the sun in one of those chapters of just rape and murder and brutality and just everything that you could think of. It was dark and it was brutal. It was kind of tough to get through, honestly. I was just like, damn, okay, Robin Hobb. But the plot, obviously, from book 1, where you're establishing Fitz as this, budding assassin's apprentice, and he's 6 and then like 13 or 14 at the conclusion of that book. He's much more grown up and he's been through a lot since that book's conclusion till now. So throughout Royal Assassin, I want to say he's a much more mature character, but at the same time, he still makes a lot of those dumb Fitz child moments, and that, rubs certain characters the wrong way. But the plot really amps up with the politicking going around the Six Duchies, dealing with King Shrewd and his, withering health, Regal being the mustache-twirling, colossal asshole that he is throughout the books, Verity really shining as that sort of beacon of hope in this world, and Fitz just being sort of that unreliable narrator, but also just the lovable idiot that you follow in this story. And he goes through so much in these books. I mean, even just 2 books in, it's, like I said in one of my videos recently, it's not a nice world. Robin Hobb is not very good to these characters. They live in kind of a shit place, and Fitz gets treated like garbage from all angles. He suffers many losses and heartaches, and I mean, some of it is his own doing, so he's not completely, faultless here. He does cause a lot of his own problems, but that's kind of what makes him relatable in a way, because he's not like a perfect protagonist. He struggles a lot. He takes a lot of losses, and he has to get stronger because of it. And just the plot overall just grows so much from where we were establishing everything in book 1, and that leads me directly into the character work that is here, because wow. The characters in these books are fantastic. Fitz is sort of becoming a well-rounded character. He's got so many different emotions and so much dynamic to him that he is really interesting to follow. And like I said, because he's so flawed, not in like a moral sense, because he's a good guy, but he's so flawed and like he makes a lot of mistakes. He's easy to sort of feel for or empathize with at times. And then you have absolutely incredible female characters. Not Molly, because Molly wasn't great, but Kettricken is like the polar opposite of Molly. Kettricken is this badass, fantastic female character. She is so strong and strong-willed and just wants to, be her own person. She doesn't just want to be this, queen in waiting that's just being told what to do or, what's expected of her. She kind of like wants to make her own place in this world. And maybe it's just the artwork from this picture, but damn, she looks like Lagertha from Vikings. And that's just, everything about her just oozes that character, and it fits so perfectly. Ketchikan honestly steals the show in this book a lot. She is fantastic. You of course have Verity that you're growing more to understand and feel for, and he is honestly a great character, and he's one of the moral compasses of this world, it seems. Of course, you have his counterpoint in Regal, his piece of garbage brother who is sort of that, let's get the king to die so I can take over and be the royal douchebag king that I want to be. So he, while not the most dynamic villain that I've seen in a book, he's certainly interesting, and I do love to hate him. I'll say that. He's definitely one of those characters where every time he talks, you're just like, oh my God, just stop being such a dick. You don't have to always be an asshole. So Robin Hobb really knocks it out of the park there. Of course, Burrick is fantastic. I've loved him since book one, and you really come to understand why he is the way that he was in book one in book two, and you get more backstory and history to him, and it really makes you empathize with him and understand him as a character and why he feels the way he does about Fitz and how he felt about chivalry. And it's just everything with these characters is so wonderful. And of course, the bestest boy, Nighteyes, makes his appearance in this book, which I didn't know. And everybody was talking about it. I had seen some artwork and stuff of Fitz and a dog, so I knew at some point he'd get an animal companion. That's obviously established in book one because he has the wit. He can talk with animals and bond with them. But he actually gets a cool ass wolf companion in this book, and that is right up my alley. I've mentioned this several times in different videos before, where a ranger character, any kind of animal companions in books, movies, games specifically, if I'm playing something like Pillars of Eternity or Baldur's Gate, I'm always a ranger. I'm always trying to have a pet, and it's almost always a wolf. So I connect directly with Fitz and Nighteyes, or John and Ghost, or Corbin and Storm. All these wolf companions, that's an immediate love for me. And if anything ever happens to them, I will be very angry. But Nighteyes and Fitz, that relationship in this book is so wonderfully done, and it's not corny in the sense that a talking animal companion could be. It's done so well and so intelligently, which of course is Robin Hobb. That makes sense. It's just there's so much character to this animal, and I'm super excited to see them grow together throughout, hopefully beyond this trilogy. I don't know what Assassin's Quest has in for us or what the later books have, but I really dig Nighteyes. I thought that was a great addition to this book. And of course, I can never forget the Fool, who, wow, he is a incredibly interesting character. He's funny, he's incredibly intelligent, and just the fact that Robin Hobb created this character, which so many other authors have pulled from, obviously. Hoyd, of course, Brandon Sanderson being the main one. I even think that probably, J.K. Rowling probably pulled a little bit of Dobby from the Fool. This character is just so unique, so interesting, and is always there to sort of protect Fitz. And even in his riddles, the way that he talks sometimes, it's you think he's an idiot, but he's definitely not. And there's got to be something else to him. He can't just be this human that's mysterious. There's got to be more to him, whether it be magic or something. There's more to this guy than I think we're getting in the text. When it comes to pacing and world building, so world building I think kind of was established in book one. Book two doesn't do a whole lot to expand the world. It's kind of well known at this point, which is fine, because that makes room for all the great character work and the expansion of the magic system, which I really wanted to see from book one to book two, and Robin Hobb definitely gave that to me here. So she expands on the wit and the skill, really expands the boundaries of what's possible between, because the skill in book one, you kind of just think, okay, humans can talk to other humans telepathically. It's way more than that, and it's expanded on in this book, and it's awesome. I'm not going to spoil specific things that happen, but it's way more than just what was established in book one, which is good, because I thought it was very, very loose and soft magic and kind of ambiguous, and it's a little bit more detailed and fleshed out here, which is awesome. And of course, the wit. There are some things in this book that happen with the wit that I was like, oh, okay, so that can happen with the magic system. That's awesome. And there's like specific moments where that really comes into play, and I I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to talk about it. But maybe you'll know what I'm talking about when I'm saying certain things that happen with the wit in this book. But yeah, I mean, the magic system is super cool. I love that communication with, Fitz and animals, whether it be a horse that he's passing by or a dog that he's had in the past or Nighteyes. I mean, just his communication with them is incredible. And I feel like there's going to be some kind of big payoff to that at some point. And I mean, just so far too, it's just the way that Robin Hobb writes. It's so different than what I'm used to. And I know I said that about Assassin's Apprentice, but man, Royal Assassin is just some of the most gorgeous writing I've ever read. I actually did just finish up Empire of Silence by Christopher Rocchio, and he knocks it out of the park in the prose style as well. But Robin Hobb, I mean, she just has such a good grasp of language and the way that she weaves sentences together and her word choice, and just she writes things that are beautiful to read. And I feel like that's probably something that's very rare. Now, I'm not the most well-read person. I haven't read a ton of flowery text. I don't know who to really compare her to, but it's just, it makes me emotional to read it sometimes, and that doesn't really happen for me in other books. So it's just, she does these, she just does something different with the way that she uses words on a page in these books. Is just, it's second to none in my eyes at the moment, and it really has me looking forward to what are supposedly her better novels in Live Ship and Beyond and Tawny Man, and I want to absorb all of Realm of the Elderlings at this point. I do have to wait a little bit before I do that, but that's definitely going to be on my radar to just read everything that she's done, because wow, it's incredible. And I bring this up because just the way that she writes. If you want to be emotional, read her. I think it was like a blog post or something that she posted about how, like, she's getting older and she understands that, like, she's, kind of getting to that last point in her life. And if you want a tear-jerking sort of reflection on one's own journey, read that, because damn, like, if you don't feel some things after that, then you might be dead inside. She's incredible with words, and it's truly impressive. But yeah, Royal Assassin, I loved it. I have no negatives about this book. I could see if you don't like slower paced books or flowery prose, maybe you'll dislike it. It's not necessarily the happiest book in the world. These characters go through a lot. There's always that ray of sun in between. I thought this was wonderfully paced. I really enjoyed the slow burn of this book, and the conclusion was something that I didn't see coming, and I thought was just so wonderful. So nothing but praise for me for this book. If you've read Assassin's Apprentice and you hated it, maybe try reading it again if you're interested. That's what I did. I really didn't like it the first time around. The second time around, I loved it, and wow, this just upped the ante in every possible way. So definitely one of the best books that I've read this year. Probably will be one of the best fantasy books that I've read in general. It definitely is. I don't even know why I'm saying probably. It absolutely is. And yeah, I loved it, guys. So that is going to do it for this one. But I would love to know your thoughts on any Robin Hobb, Farseer, or otherwise. Just let me know in the comments down below, or jump in Discord, have a chat with me. I love talking to people there, getting to know you all, and just conversing about books. That's why we're all here. Definitely join up in Patreon if you want to support the channel financially. That's always optional, but always appreciated. That, of course, just is partial book budget stuff. So that's filling up these shelves behind me. That's how I justify it, okay? So I appreciate everybody that wants to support me financially too. That's super cool. So that's going to do it though, guys. Until next time.